integration and to have some hands-on onto it, then we can use this SSO circle. This is a free tool which is available.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the main home page when we go on to ServiceNow. So this basically I am using the Fuji version of it. Currently ServiceNow has gone into Geneva. I am not switching on to Geneva because there are many UI changes in Geneva and everybody is not very comfortable with the UI changes because it has been launched in December. I think December 14 was there are two versions of ServiceNow releases. One is controlled availability, and it is given only to the premium partners, and one is general availability. So in December 14, Geneva was generally available. That was general availability. But we'll be talking about the UI in this is basically Fuji UI, which is called as the UI 15 user interface version 15. In Geneva, it has gone on to user interface version 616. So there are a lot of differences in Geneva. So we'll take up the Fuji version first, and at the end, then we will be talking about some of the new UI features that has been included in Geneva. Okay.
Okay.
This is the main page. It has basically 3 to 4 components. First is the site. The site is called as the site edge. You have few features over here, like suppose the home feature is there. If you click on home, it is self-explanatory that the home will take you to the home page, right? This is all the bookmarks. Here in ServiceNow, this bookmark feature is very good. Like suppose if I have to see a home page, suppose not, let's go on to the, I will just show how this is working. Suppose if I want to bookmark this, I can just drag it over here, put it over here. This will get bookmarked. So whenever I click on this, I can go on to this module. We'll not see what this module is, but this is how we do the bookmark over here. You just have to drag and drop it over here. Just drag and drop it over here. Okay. So this is about home. This is about bookmark. This is tagged documents. I am not sure what this means. 1 second. Okay, I think it is showing because there are many features that are coming in the UI. So this is basically showing us whatever documents we might have tagged. I will see to it what is it tag documents. This is list and view. Suppose if you click this, you will have, I'll show you how this is different. Suppose normally we will see only the, you will be having some confusion regarding this, but it'll get cleared once I explain you the entire thing. Okay. So basically if we see the view normally, this is the list view. If you click on list and form, it will show you list and form both. We will see what is a list, what is a form, but as of now it is just showing list and form both. And there is a toggle navigator over here. So basically this is called as the side navigation pane, left navigation pane. So if you click on toggle
Okay.
navigator, it is just minimizing that left navigation pane.
Okay.
So these are just the UI features that we are talking about. Okay. Now going to the next, this top part of the ServiceNow page is called as the welcome bar. Okay. So we need to understand few features which are there in the welcome bar. First of all, this is the welcome headline. So this will basically be the headline of the organization which is using ServiceNow. Right. Suppose if we talk about any organization, suppose if we take any XYZ organization, so the organization will have in each and every organization's website, their logo is there and their name is there in some particular fashion, right? So here you can put the organization name and the logo accordingly. That will depend. They will give us the logo and we can put it over here, right, where ServiceNow automation is written.
Yes.
This welcome and this name is showing the name of the person who is logged in. This is again a hyperlink. If you click on this, it will take you to the user profile. The user profile details, we will discuss it. But this is basically showing which person is logged in currently. Like it says view my profile. If you click on it, it will take you to the profile of the individual who is logged in. Okay. This is very important. This is called as an impersonation key. Basically, using this impersonation key, we can log into any other user. This, first let me explain what this is. This impersonation key is available only to administrators. Only to the administrators, like who all are having admin roles in the system, the impersonation key will be available to them. And if I click on this impersonation key, it will give me a list. Okay. So from here I can filter, I can go on to this will take me to the list of all the users that are available in the system. And suppose if I click on any user, suppose if I click on Aline, and if I click OK. Now what the system is doing is it is telling me that you are logged in as Aline Mortain. It is telling that you are logged in as Aline Mortain. This is basically, or this is primarily for the purpose of testing. Like suppose if I have created something that should work differently for an administrator and that should work differently for an end user, so you can impersonate that user and we can test how is it working for that. This is a very powerful feature in ServiceNow. You might not, you said that you have background of Remedy, right?
Yeah.
So you might not have this feature in Remedy. You will have to log
Yeah.
out from the
Impersonate.
admin.
Yes.
Now,
Yeah. We have to
normally what
reset
we
the
do,
path.
you have to either log out or log in again with some user with that those roles, and then you'll have to test it how it works. But in ServiceNow you don't have to log out, log in again. You can just impersonate and you can use it. So this is a very powerful feature. Let me impersonate back to the administrator. And you should remember that this is only available to administrator because it cannot be available to other users. That will be a security constraint, right?
Yes, of course. Yes.
Now moving ahead, this log button, it is basically an elevated privilege. In ServiceNow system, we have an elevated, like we have a security role called security underscore admin. In the system, even admin does not have the privilege or the freedom to do everything. There are few things that are restricted. Like there are few things that will hamper the system performance or that can even hamper the system being rendered or the system being up. So there are few features that will be controlled by this elevated privilege. Until and unless you just have to click on this log button, you just have to check the security admin. You just have to check OK. It will tell. See, now this log button is showing as unlocked. So it is telling that I have a security admin role for this session, for the current session. And there are few things that can be done only if I have the security administrator role. What are those things that will come across? I have unlocked it. So this is basically the elevated privilege button. Now apart from this, we have the logout button over here and we have a global search. This search box is basically searching the entire system. If you have to search the entire system for anything, you will use this global search. I think these are the options that we are having in some of the searches which is there. Okay. Now moving ahead, we have this gear icon. If you click on this gear icon, you will have a number of options. If you might have your version of the instance might also be in Fuji. If you might have seen earlier versions of the ServiceNow system like Dublin, Eureka, this was not there. This gear icon was not there. Few options was there that was already there in the stop header, but the gear icon was not there. This has been introduced from Fuji. Okay. So if we go into the gear icon, there are a few important things. This home page section is basically, if you click on this, suppose if I click on any of this. So this is taking me to different home pages. Now what is home pages, we will understand it later. But this option is basically taking us into different home pages. Okay. So there are other options like wrap longer text, compact view, accessibility enabled, tab, forms. These things I will explain you once we will go on because these are related to forms and list. So once I explain you forms and list, then I will go through all these things because as of now it will not make much sense. Date and time also I will tell you, split layout, related list loading, application updates at time zone. So basically these parts like wrap longer text, compact view, accessibility, tab forms, or all plus click open, date time, split layout, related list loading. These things I will explain you in a bit of time. Okay. This are basically these few things now. Application, update set, time zone, language, theme, and domain. These are pickers. Like suppose it will tell you you can pick on which application you are working. Okay, what it means we'll explain it later. But from here basically we can just pick up the application on which we are working. Similarly, here we can pick up the update set on which we are working. That will become our current update set. Here we can pick up the time zone. Here we can pick up the language. Language will only be available if we are using the language translation plugin. That will I'll explain you. Theme is basically, this theme is very interesting. Suppose if I click on this flamingo, the entire theme of my system will change. Now, this is, if we see this theme, then we might we might just think that this is just to change the view or to make it look different. But there is a specific purpose of theme of ServiceNow providing these themes. That is, like suppose this instance, if you see the URL, this is my dev instance, right? This is my developer's instance. Similarly, I can have my testing environment, I can have my UAT environment, and I can have my production environment, right? Now suppose if all my environments, dev, UAT, testing, and production, is having this gray background or this gray theme. So the only differentiator will be the URL. And sometimes what we do is human errors are there, or obviously are there for everybody, right? Everybody commits human errors. So
Yeah,
sometimes
sometimes they log in directly into production.
yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes
I got it.
you will not be skeptical and you will make some changes into your production environment.
Yes, yes.
So
Yeah.
this theme is just to make sure that you put a different theme for your production environment, you put a different theme for your production environment altogether. So once you log in, you know that boss, this is my production environment and I don't have to do anything to this, right? So the sole purpose of the theme is that only, and then people can use to have a different view and all those things. But the sole purpose of theme is to distinguish between the development, UAT, testing, and the production environment. Okay. Moving ahead, this is a domain. What does a domain does? We will talk about it. But this is basically similar to all these things. This is a domain picker. This is a printer-friendly version. If you click on it, you will get the printer-friendly version of the current page, and you can print it off. Okay. And the last one is JavaScript log and field watch. What this is to, okay, this is a field watcher. We'll explain what the field watcher is, but just to give you idea that these are the options which are available under this gear icon. There are some more options, like if you enable all those things, suppose if there are some other pickers which has been enabled, so they can also come into this gear icon. Okay, this was about the welcome page. One more thing is, this is the toggle button over here. If you click this, it'll just collapse the welcome, and if you, it is just collapsing and it is just bringing it back. So that if somebody wants to see the entire page, they can collapse everything and they can see the entire page on a bigger picture. Okay. Let me just put it
Okay.
here. So do you have any questions till now?
Till now I'm clear. But I have one question. I guess it is
Hmm.
not related to something to which you have said.
Okay, you can
I
continue
just
with
want to know how can we find the version of the application right now we are using? Like,
the application right now you're using. If you hover over here,
yeah.
it will say you
Okay.
Servicenow Hide Fuji, right? And you, if you
Okay.
want to know the exact version, then you can, I
Okay.
think it is there in System Diagnostic. 1 second. There was a home page that I showed you in on the first day. That was 1 second. System Diagnostic. If you go to this home page, 1 second. 4G, which version we are in? This is. Give me 1 second. Let's park this question as of now. I don't want to waste my time finding it out right now. I will find it out and
Okay.
I'll tell you. Okay. But if you hover
Okay.
over here,
Sure.
the basic version, you will get that which version is it. Now now see, I will give you a bit idea if as we have started discussing about it. I will give you a bit idea about the ServiceNow versions, like how those versions are coming in. Okay. So what ServiceNow is doing is, it started from Aspen. Okay, I'll give you a bit history. The first version of the ServiceNow instance was Aspen. They are using a naming convention. It starts from A, B, C, D, and they are naming it based on cities. First was Aspen. Second was Berlin. Third is Calgary. Fourth was Dublin. Fifth is Fuji. Fifth is after D. Fifth is Eureka. Sixth was Fuji, and now the current is Geneva. So these are the
Okay.
baseline versions, like these are the major version releases. And normally ServiceNow is doing one version release each and every year, but that is not consistent. Like after Dublin, after Eureka, Fuji was launched after a very short interval, like suppose 8 or 9 months down the line, Fuji was launched. Then Geneva came after 1 year down the line. So normally they follow a gap of 1 or 1.5 years between one major release. And Once a release is done, suppose that right now we are working on Geneva, right? So Geneva, once they release, they will release Geneva patch 1. Okay. So when there is a release, there might be some issues, right? They will have some problems which might be there with that release. So to address those issues, like suppose Geneva has come, then Geneva patch 1 will come. After Geneva patch 1, they will release, like suppose they have identified 100 problems, right? And out of those 100 problems, they say, boss, only 20 problems can be fixed at this point of time, and the rest of the problems cannot be fixed now. They will be fixed in further release. So what they will do is, they will do a small hotfix release. Like Geneva is there, Geneva patch 1 will be there. Now they will say that Geneva patch 1 hotfix 1 has come, in which these are the list of issues that has been fixed. After hotfix 1, they will go on with hotfix 2 or hotfix 3, and depending if they don't want to go with hotfix, they might release another patch also. Like Geneva patch 1 will come, patch 2 will come. There will be different patches. If you go on to the history, you can see that there are many patches. Suppose if I go on to, I'll show you. If I go on to wiki.servicenow.com. Release. One second, I'll open a prior version better. See, you can see over here, these patches are there. Let me open this page. This will give you a better picture. See, like for Fuji, first Fuji was released. Then Fuji patch 1 was released. They have not released any hotfix in patch 1. Then patch 2 was released. Then they have released some hotfix in patch 2 as well. So this is how it goes. And normally 8 to 9 patches will be released in each and every version. So these are called, like, you can call it as a patch fix or a minor release, not a major release. Major release is from Fuji to Geneva, the entire version change. But there are small hotfix releases also in between. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me put it away. We'll go back to our instance. So we have spoken about the welcome header, right? Now we will go on to the two most important part on the ServiceNow page. First of all, let's take up, this is called as the left navigation pane. Okay, this is basically, this contains the list of all the applications and modules that are visible or that are accessible for the logged in user. Now, application means the service, self-service. Okay, this self-service is an entire application. Under this self-service, the options that you see, Snow, Live Feed, Home Pages, Service Catalog, all these are modules under this application. Like suppose if I minimize this self-service is one application, and if I click on this, all these things are module in an application. These are just naming conventions, that this is an application, and all these things which are under this are modules. Okay, so the left navigation pane gives you a view of all the applications and modules that we are using. Now there are a few other features over here. Suppose you say that there are so many modules, I don't want to scroll again and again to see this. So you can search it over here. Suppose if I want to find the incident, if you type incident, you can see the incident application and the modules which are under the incident application. So you can search it from here. This is only for this search is only for searching in the left navigation pane. Contrary to this search, which was a global search, this is searching for the entire system, this search, and this one is only for searching in the left navigation pane. Now you can see there is one more button over here. This button is giving us few options. Like there might be, Shrikant, there might be few things that you might not understand, but park your questions as of now, because once we start covering the entire topic, you'll be able to relate it. Okay.
Yeah,
So
sure. Yeah.
this shows us few options over here. So this is basically showing the options, like suppose that each and every application is built for some particular purpose, right? Some applications are built only for administrator. Some applications are built only for end users. Like to give you an example, like suppose there might be an application for system securities, which is taking care of the security part of the system. So the security part is not something which is related to an end user, right? So that is what the applications are segregated. Some applications are for admins, some applications are for end users, some application might be for ITIL users. So over here, if you select, suppose if I select ITIL over here, so it will list down, it will start listing down all the applications that are related for ITIL users. It will just filter out all the applications which are there for ITIL users. Okay. Now suppose if I click on admin, then it will start again filtering out all the applications which are there for admin, and it has listed down all the applications again, which are only specific for admins. You can see the applications has been selected. This is just a filtering. Now let me put all again. So that is the sole purpose of this. Automatically add favorites, just a second, collapse all applications. So basically there are the four options. Automatically add favorites is, it's self-explanatory. If you click on this star button, it'll add you to the favorites. And suppose if I click on this star, then it'll just list down all the favorite application that has been marked for me. These are just the small UI that they are bringing in. The other things is, this is collapse all applications. Suppose everything is open, it will collapse all the application and give you a smaller picture. Suppose if I open everything, right, it might, suppose if I open few things, so this will become longer and longer. So if you want to only search the application, then it will become difficult, and you don't have to, suppose if you have opened everything, you don't have to go and close all the things. There's an option over here, collapse all application and expand all application. Expand all application, as it says that it will expand all the applications. See, everything is getting expanded and it will collapse all applications. Okay. This is about the left navigation pane. Then coming on to the main part, this is called the main page, where we can see everything in the services. This is the main page that we'll be bothered about. The entire page where the system diagnostic, this is the main page. Okay. So if you want to see the, one second. What I will do is I will take you across to wiki also.
Yeah, we can do that.
That will give you a better picture, like in terms of terminologies, in terms of something which I might be missing out. So we can see the wiki also. So this is, I think this is an older UI. Let's see. This is basically showing UI 11, UI 14, UI 15 is the current thing that we are seeing over here. Okay. These are the everything that is listed on about UI 11. This is UI 15. So this is the application navigator. That is called as HC. These are the four parts in UI 15. Okay. First is the application navigator. This one, application navigator. Then comes the content frame. Content frame is this. This is called as the content frame. This entire part, the white page. Then the edge, we have spoken about the edge, and the welcome header is there. Okay, these are the four parts which are there. Now what I will do is, let me go on to the. Now, as you have already worked, now we'll start with the users and everything, but let me give you some more picture about the ServiceNow tool, like how it is. You will be able to relate it. Basically, as all these tools are basically table formatted. Everything in ServiceNow that we talk is a table, right? It might be similar in Remedy as well, right? Suppose if you talk about incident, if you talk about problem, if you talk about change, everything is tables over here, right? So let's first start off with let me first explain you about the forms list, application modules a bit more, then we will go on to users. So navigation is fine. Okay. So Shrikant, do you want me, like, if before starting, do you want me to explain some of the ITIL concepts as well? Shrikant? Hello? 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 Hello?
Hello, Pratul.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
seems to be Srikanth lost his connection.
Okay, okay, okay. That is it.
1 minute, he will connect.
Yeah.
Hello, yes, Srikanth.
Now I'm able to hear you.
Okay, okay.
Hello?
Yeah, better to you can join with the computer audio, Srikanth, rather than
Yeah, that's what.
yeah.
Yeah.
It will be very good.
Okay then, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Sure.
So Shrikant, we will continue.
Please, yeah.
Okay. So Shrikant, I was asking you, like before starting with the real modules and the applications, I just wanted to know that do you want me to cover some of the ITILs concepts as well, like some brief about incident, problem, change?
I think I'm good with the ITL part.
Okay. 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 In that case, we will start off with.
Yeah.
So just a second, let me just minimize these things. So we will start off with the user creation in ServiceNow. Okay. In every system, you know that the user is the first thing that is required, right? So in ServiceNow, everything that is driven by a user is through his roles and his groups. Okay. So we will go on to the user table. Suppose if I have to go on to the, if you have to create a user, we'll type users over here, and under user administration application, we'll have a module called user. I will just click on this module. Okay. Now over here, this is, I will also, while we are creating a user, I'll also be explaining you what is a list and what is a form. Okay. So that both the things are covered in the same go. Now suppose if I click on this module, this is giving me the list of users. Okay. So it is self-explanatory that it says that this is a list. Okay. Now in the list, in this page, we have different options. If you see over here, here we have few options, like this is basically all these things we will cover means in bit and pieces. This is giving us options like this is, there are different sort of views, like as I told you that for an ITIL user the view might be, for an, if we are looking at a form, you might be able to relate. Suppose if you are looking at an incident form, the view for an ITIL user and the view for an end user will be different for an incident form, right?
Yes, yeah.
So similarly, it is for list also. So this is basically giving us an option to choose which view do you want to see. Do you want to see a default view? You want to see an item view, or whatever you view you want to see. Next comes filters. Like suppose if you want to see, basically this option is, suppose if you want to set a predefined filter. Suppose if I'll just give you an example. Suppose if I'm working out from India. So whenever I go on to the user table, I am normally, suppose everyday task is I have to see users from India. So what I will do is I'll create a personal filter so that I don't have to go each and every time and just filter out the users from India. So over here we can create our personalized filters depending upon our preferences. Like we can set our preference that this is the page or this is the filter that I am using frequently. So I'll put it into the personal filter so that I don't have to recreate it again and again. So whatever filters we'll be creating, that will be visible over here, and we can go on to the filters directly. Let's have a look at it. How this works. Edit personal filters. Filter no record found. So over here I can give the title of my filter. Suppose if I give the title of my filter as demo filters, it is telling me it has to go into the user table, and this is basically a condition builder. Like suppose if I have to filter, I'll take on very simple examples as of now. Suppose if I say I want to filter out users who are active. So I'll put this will list down all the fields or all the columns from the user table. I'll say active is true, just to give an example of filters. We will talk about all these things, this condition builders and all these things in detail. But just to give you an example over here, I'll just go on submit. This is the filter that is created now. Now what I will do is I'll go back to my users. Now if I go over here, if I go on to filters, my demo filter is created over here. Okay. And if I click on the demo filter, earlier we were seeing over here that it was telling me all. Now it is telling active is true. That means it is showing me only the active users in the system. So this is basically creating our filter, like what filters do we want. Let's go back to going ahead. Group
Pratik,
by
I have a question here.
yes, yes, sir.
So we have created a filter on the users form,
So
right?
can I pass the statement?
So if suppose this filter will be visible only on the form, only on this form, or all the forms which we open.
This filter is specific for this form. This filter which you are creating for the, because if I go on to filters, and if I go on to, suppose if I want to edit personal filters, suppose let me open this record. Okay. So if you see this record, the first field tells us the title, that is only the description of the filter that we are using. The second field is telling us the table, on which table is this filter applicable. That is telling that it is applicable only onto the users table. See, basically in each and every table, suppose if I say that I have created a filter, in this case we have created a filter active as true. But let's take an, without looking at the list, let's take an example, or just think of an example field which might be there in the user form. There might be a field called company on the user form, right? So suppose if I do company, suppose if I say company is some XYZ, okay. Now suppose if I say that this filter is applicable to all the tables, but if I talk about the problem table will not have a field called company. So that cannot suppose, I cannot filter out problems telling company is XYZ. So the filters that we are applying, that will be for specific tables, because in each and every table the columns will be different. Okay.
So it is applied to only the table which we select over there, right?
It is applicable only to the user table.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Let's go back. Moving ahead, there's a group by option. This is also self-explanatory. This says that you can group by things.
Yeah, you can.
I'll just show you doing it once. Suppose if I group by active only. So I'm just doing it to show how it looks if we group by something. So if suppose active, I think all the users are active over here. If it would have been inactive, there would have been two sections over here. And if you click over here, this will expand all the users. And if you click over here, it will just collapse everything. This is a group by functionality. This is basically showing, like, this is telling how many records should it show on a single page. Refresh list is also self-explanatory. It will just refresh the list. Now going ahead, there is a new button over here. This is basically to create a new record over here. Suppose if I click on new, it will take me to the user form. So this is basically a form. A form is giving us in detail or information about one record, and a list is giving us information about all the records in that table. So basically this is a form, and the previous one was a list. We'll go on to form. Let's complete the list part first. Okay, so this new button is basically to create a new record. This is basically a search over here. Suppose if let me just ungroup it. This is go-to is basically for searching. Suppose if I say, if I search over, suppose if I say user ID, and if I say the first one, if I click on enter, this will basically giving me the result depending upon whatever I have searched. Okay, so this is basically for searching over here. Then this is for going to the list, like suppose if there are 300 records from 1 to 20, then we are going to the next sets of records and all those things. Coming down, the important part, this is called as a filter. This icon is called as a filter, extra show hide filter, and the thing which are listed over here, all user ID is greater than equal to Jaya, this is called as a breadcrumb. Okay, this is called as a filter, and this part is called as a breadcrumb. This is just to filter out things. Like you can see many options are over here. So this is just given over there to filter out things. Like suppose if I say that city, and it'll give you me a lot of options, like lot of options. It says contains, so many options are there: contains, does not contain, is not empty. All these options are there, and then you can put it. Suppose if I say is, or suppose let me put a symbol is not. I can put anything over here, and it will give me the list of records in which list of user records in which city is not whatever value we have put in over here. Okay. Now sort. Okay. There are some other things. Run will basically, it will run this filter and will give you the records. Now there is few things to note down over here. As we have ran the filter, this breadcrumb has changed. This breadcrumb will give you the information which filter you are running. It shows me city is not equal to whatever value you have put in. So from here you know what filters you are applying. Now again, if I go click on this, just expand this, and I can change my filters. You can add and conditions over here. You can add or conditions over here. You can build your filter as per as your wish, right? Depending upon your requirement, whatever you want. Then you can also add sorts over here. Like how do you want it to get sorted? Do you want it to get sorted on depending upon which field you want it to get sorted? These are all the features that are available only on the list. Like you can do all these things. Basically what ServiceNow is doing is, somebody might be thinking that why so many features are required over here. So ServiceNow is basically giving all these features so that somebody is, if some manager is in the system, and if he wants some reports, so rather than generating the report, he can go onto the list and he can leverage all the features that are there to just see like what is the picture over here, right? If somebody is logged in and he wants to see all the users which are belonging to a particular company and which are for a particular location, and he wants to group them with some fields, and he wants to see how many users are there and all those things. So you can do all those things over here. It is giving us a lot of options to do things. Okay, this was about filters. Do you need any more explanation about filters, or do you have any questions about filters?
I'm good, Pratul.
Okay. Basically, there are a lot of options which are here. So I'm giving you an idea about all those things. Once you go through all these things, you might have few other questions. Right? Okay. Now I'll just clear off this. Now moving ahead, you can see that there is one header line over here. Okay. Now this header is giving you few more options over here. Basically, if you are there on the, suppose if I open any user record. So this user record is having so many fields, right? This is having so many information: user ID, first name, last name, company, department, and number of things are there, right? But in the list, we are seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, if you want to see some more information on the list, like suppose the company is not there on the list, and I want the company to be there on the list. So what I will do is, I will click on this gear icon. This gear icon will basically give me two things. These are called, there might be many terminologies that you will come across, but eventually you will get used to all those things. These things are called as slush buckets. This is the left slush bucket and this is the right slush bucket. Left slush bucket gives me all the columns or all the fields that are available on the user table. Like whatever information is available: building, business phone, calendar, city, class, company, and it will list down all the fields that are there on the user table. And this right slush bucket, here we are telling which all fields do we want. Like suppose we have seen on our list user ID, email, user ID, name, email, active, created, and updated over there. Nice. Now suppose if I want the company information also. So what I'll do is I'll select company and I'll click on this. So this company is moved from the left slush bucket to the right slush bucket. Now suppose I say, boss, I want company to be the second one. So you can move it up the ladder or you can rearrange it accordingly. Okay. Now in this page itself, there are many other things, right? First of all, let me tell you a thing which is very important, right? Suppose you might have a question in your mind, like suppose I being Srikanth, I want to see only user ID and name over here, and I'll say a user called Pratul, who want to see 6 other fields over here. So suppose Srikanth, you have changed this. You have, suppose from your end, what you do is you go, you select everything, you click on shift, you select everything and you move it here and you save it. So you said that I have changed the view of the field, view of the list, right? So this view will get changed only for you. This will not reflect other users. Suppose if I am changing the view over here, this will reflect only me. It will not reflect other users. So each and every user has the individuality or has the capability to select their own fields which they want to see in the view. Am I making myself clear?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So now there are a few other options which are over here. Uh, click to edit. Okay. Wrap column text, compact rows, active, enable cell editing, enable list editing. Okay. These are basically few options, like in the list we have few other options or few other capabilities which are available. So these are to control all those things. To give you example, like enable list editing, this is basically a feature. I'll show you how this enable list edit, like how this list editing works. So over here you can enable it or you can disable it. Double click to edit, you can enable it or you can disable it. How this works I will show you. Okay, now let me just cancel this. There was one more, or there should be one more option over here. Wrap column text, compact rows. Just give me 1 second. Yes, this is what I was looking at now. Now suppose a system administrator has set up a list and it says that it can it's this it is the, by default. uh, Let me put it in other way around. Like suppose when I am an administrator of a system, right? The list, I have set a default number of fields on the list. I have, as a system administrator, I will say if somebody who is not changing the view of the list. Shrikant, you are able to hear me, right?
Yes, Pratul.
Because I heard a beep, so I thought I'll just confirm. So suppose the system administrator has set a default view for the list and he says that 5 columns are visible by default if somebody has not made any changes. Now I as a user, I have went in the system and I have changed this view for me. Now I don't remember what was the initial number of initial fields which was there in the list, and I want to set it back to the initial thing. So what I can do is I can go back again to this list, and now you see there is one more option that is available to me which says reset to columns default. If I click on this, it will show me the list which was preset. This was the list which was preset, right? I change it according to my needs, and then I can reset it again back.
Yeah.
This is about this gear icon. This all things you can do while this gear icon, and this is personalizing it only for yourself. Okay. Now we will go ahead. If you see this icon, if you click on this, you can see there is some difference, right? Something else is appearing over here. This is
Yeah,
also only a
visible.
search. This is also only a search functionality. Suppose if I search over here and if I click on enter, this gives me the search functionality. So you can search on each and every field which is available over here. This is only for search. Now, apart from this, I'll just filter out this. Apart from this, you might be seeing that there are so many functionalities. There are few 3-4 functionalities are left in this list. If I click on this arrow, it is giving me one more. This is basically called as a list context menu. What is a list context menu? We'll talk about it later. But if you just click over here, this is giving you few more options. Sort is there, ungroup is there. Suppose if you have grouped something, then ungroup is there. Here also you have the option to group, because if you are clicking on user ID, here you have option to group by user ID. Now, this is what I'm about to talk about right now is a very powerful feature of ServiceNow. Over here, you can generate your reports directly from a list. It gives you the option to create bar chart, to create pie chart directly from this list. If I click on bar chart, this is directly taking me to the reporting module, and it has created a bar chart for me automatically. I don't have to do anything. What I have just done is I have clicked on the bar chart over there. I will give you a better example. Suppose let's put some filters over here. Suppose if I put name starts with A. Now I will try to create a bar chart for this. See, it has created a bar chart for me with that filter that the name is starting with A and it has listed down everything. So basically this is a very powerful feature which is available in ServiceNow. If somebody has to do an instant reporting, he can do it from here. Okay. Now I will talk about configure afterwards. I'll not take about configure. Import also we will see it at a later stage. We'll talk about export. Now suppose this list is there. If I want to export this list, like suppose if I want all the list of users into an Excel format or into a CSV format or into a PDF or into XML, then I can export it directly from here. I will show you how you have to PDF. PDF also gives us some other option. We will try Excel as this point of time. So if I click on Excel, you will get an option to download. If you click on download, the Excel sheet will get downloaded. You can open this Excel sheet. So this is downloaded you the list of all the users that was there. That means only on a click of button you can download this information into whatever format you want it to be. Okay. Now it says update selected, update all. Once again I'll tell you what this is. Create application file, import XML. Okay. These things are basically to update the records over here. Suppose if I select something over here, and if I go on to update all, we can update all the records, or we can update the selected records over here. I will tell you how to do this update, because at this point of time it will not make very much sense. That is why I am not talking about this. Import XML also will take care of it. Okay. Now going ahead, there are few other things that are left in this list. Okay. We haven't talked about this checkbox, right? Shrikant, just let me know if you feel that I am going slow or if I am going fast. Okay.
Yeah, I'm aware of this checkbox actually.
Okay, you are aware of the checkbox. So you are aware
Yes.
that if we click this, it will select all the
Yeah.
fields there, and there
Yeah.
are a few options which are over here. Like you can go on,
Yes.
you can delete, you can create applications. So few other options are available over here. Okay.
Okay.
So this
I'm
is,
not aware of that application file. Create an application file.
sorry, which one second?
If you just
This
go
one.
down.
This one.
Yeah. Yeah.
We should not talk about this right now, because see
Okay.
what there is. I will give you some background why I'm not talking about this. There is something called as, you might not have heard, there's something called as scoped APIs and scoped applications in ServiceNow, which has been
Okay.
introduced from Fuji, which was introduced in Fuji, but it was not
Mm-hmm.
leveraged at all in Fuji. It has been leveraged
Mm.
only in Geneva. So
Okay.
people don't have knowledge about scoped APIs and scoped applications. So these all things, create application file, these all things are part of scoped APIs and scoped applications.
Mm.
To be very frank, even I am not aware of scoped APIs and scoped applications, because in ServiceNow what is happening is ServiceNow is changing their entire view, entire applications in every 1 year or 6 months down the line. So it's very difficult to keep pace with it. So these all are dealing with scoped APIs. We will see about scoped APIs later. I will also read a bit about it, and I will give you some idea about what is a scoped API and what is a scoped application. Okay.
Sure.
So that is why I'm leaving out few things, because it will not make sense if I talk about all these things right now. Over here also we can put in options if we want. We can remove options if we want. We will see how do we do all those things afterwards. So this was a brief about list. What all features are there in a list? So do you have any questions about list, or do you want me to repeat something about lists?
No, I think I'm good. Yeah.
Okay. We might be missing few things, but we will come across those things down the line, and we will address those as we come across those. Okay.
Sure.
So now what I'll do is I'll go on to the form, and we will see what all features are available on the form. You will take one or two sessions to get used to the system. Then we don't have to, like, suppose if we are used to, if you are accustomed to all the terms and terminologies, then going forward we can just use those terms and terminologies and we can explain. But if you are not used to the system, then you might be facing some difficulties. Like if I use some terminologies, then it might be able to difficult for you to map. So I wanted to tell you all the terms and terminologies which we'll be using normally in our entire sessions. Okay. So this is the form which is there. This is basically giving us the view of the record. Now in this form, these fields, that is self-explanatory. I don't need to explain the fields. each and every table or in each and every application, the fields will differ. Like suppose this is a user table or this is a user form. So it is showing me the details of a user. An incident will show me the details of the incident. Problem similarly will show me the details of the problem. We'll talk about few things which are there. This is just a back button which will take you back from the screen. Here this is called as an additional actions. It is similar to what we saw on the list. It is telling me suppose if I have made any changes onto this, suppose if I add something onto the business phone, and if I want to save this record, we can click over here and we can save it from here. If you want to insert a new record, we can insert it from here. Insert and stay is basically another very good feature of ServiceNow. Suppose if I give you an example, suppose you have to create 10 incidents, okay? And in all those 10 incidents, suppose you have to populate 20 fields and 19 fields are common. Only one field is different. Might be the caller is different and all the fields are same. So what you can do is you can create one ticket, okay? Or else you can create one incident, and then when you open that, after opening that incident, you can change the caller name and you can press insert and stay. That means all the fields that are populated will be the same, only the caller will be changed, and it is inserting that record and staying onto the same form. Am I making sense?
Can you just repeat it again, please?
See what happens is, suppose I'll show you. I don't want to create records on the incident table. Let's create it on the. Like suppose this incident is there, right? 105. Now I want short description to be A over here. Now what I want is, I want one more record. What my requirement is, I want one more record to be created. Let's clear out this. I want one more record to be created, or one more incident to be created, which will have all these values the same, like not open and open back. These all are system defined fields. These are system defined fields. Like contact type, state, substate, assigned to, all these things should be same. Only my short description should differ from this record.
Okay,
so what I will
so
do,
it's like copy to new. It is something like copy to new.
yes.
Okay.
If I write something, if I right click over here, okay, this is not a new record, so insert and stay is not coming over here. Basically it is for that only. Like suppose if I click on, if I did new short description, and if I do insert and stay, it will insert a new record with all these information will be same. Only the short description will be new and a new record will be created.
Okay. Okay.
That is what insert and stay is doing. Apart from that, configure, I'll talk about configure later. Templates is basically, it is also what the meaning of template remains same. You can save something as a template. This will be normally used in incident and problem engine. Suppose we as an
Yeah, I'm
engineer,
aware of it.
so
Yeah,
you can save any form as template and then you can use it as the template afterwards. Export is again the same thing. You can just give me 1 second. Yeah, sorry for the interruption. So this export is basically, when we saw the export on the list, it was exporting the entire list. This export will export only this record in PDF, portrait, PDF landscape or XML, whatever uh, format you want to export it to. View is again the same. It will change the view of this record. See, these options are for administrator. As I'm logged in as administrator, I can see many of these options, but many of these options will not be available to other users. Like suppose if I'm logged in as an end user, so end user will not have the capability to see the form in ITIL user's view, right? So he will not have these options listed down. So as I am an administrator, I am having all these options listed down. There are a few other features which are used, which will be very useful down the line. Copy URL. Copy URL, basically if you click on copy URL, this will give you a URL which will redirect you to this particular record. Okay, suppose if I copy this URL, okay, if I paste it over here, let's see this one, paste it over here. So this is basically taking me to the same record. Now you might think, why do we need this copy URL? We can copy this URL also and we can do the same thing, right? But this will not work. If you copy this URL over here, this is taking you to the home page. So this URL This is basically, you might know about shortened URL and all those things, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Short URL. So this is basically shows us the short URL. So if you want to see the entire URL, you can go and copy the URL from here. Okay. Now there is an option called SysID. I will explain you a bit about means. I'll explain you in detail about SysID. Then we'll talk about it. Show XML is basically, it will basically show the XML copy of this particular record. This is showing us the XML copy of this particular record. Okay. Next is it is history. I will tell you about history. History is basically, it is stored like, suppose it shows the calendar view. There is a list view also. List view is more precise. It basically stores the history. Like suppose if I change the business phone, so it will save me the records like whatever was changed. This is for auditing purpose. Like suppose if somebody wants to audit who has made changes onto this records, so we can go on to history and we can see what all changes were done in the history. Reload form will just basically load this form again. It is just loading this form again. Now, again, this is edit tags. Well, I'll tell you about what is. This is just basically if you want to tag this to somebody or to someone's name. These features are coming like they're trying to incorporate features from social networking sites and put it into these ITSM tools as well. So these tag features has come in with those.
Okay.
These tag features was not available till Eureka. It has come in Fuji. There are many things. If you want, I will show you a Geneva version also. Okay, give me some time. I don't recall the URL. I have a Geneva. If you see a Geneva version, it looks like Facebook. It has changed the complete view. You have seen the Geneva version, right?
I have. Yes, I do.
So what they are doing is they are trying to incorporate things from the social networking site and put into the ITSM tool also, so that it's more user friendly, and you don't need a user guide or you don't need someone to educate yourself. Everything has to be self-explanatory. That is how the world is growing, right? And what that is the future. So that is what they are also trying to do. Now there are a few other things over here. This, as you say, it is a manage attachment icon. If you click on this, you can attach any file to this system. Not to this system, sorry to say, to this record, and this, whatever you attach over here will be associated to this record. Okay. Now again we have one more gear icon over here. This is basically telling you what all fields you want to see. This is just like that personalizing the list. So if I say that I don't want to see the last name field, so I'll go on to last name and I'll uncheck this. Last name field has disappeared from here. If you want, you can check it again. So this is just telling you, if I uncheck this is gone, first name is again come back. So this is just to tell you which all fields you want to see and which all fields you don't want to see. Sorry?
Okay, so this should be making changes only to the user who just logged in, right? This will not be a global change, right?
Yes, this is only for you. This is only for you.
Okay.
I have not told you how to make global change on the list also as of now. I will tell you how to make global changes on the list, because as an administrator we need to know all those things. As of now I am telling you things bit by bit, because if we cover everything in one go it will become messy. Okay. So this is only for the user who is logged in, for the current user, his personal view, what all view he wants. And see, we can put in more fields over here. It is not that the user table is having only these fields. User table might be having 100, 200 fields. Okay, but many fields are not required or many fields are not relevant. All the fields are not relevant to us. We might not be using all the fields. So we have not put in every field over here. And in this gear icon, it will show you only those fields which are available right now. And you can just remove it from here. This is only your personal view. Okay. There's one more thing. I think this company is a mandatory value over here. So I don't think you will have company. Okay, this company is there, but you cannot remove it, because this is a mandatory value. You cannot remove it from your form.
Okay.
You don't have the option to remove company from here. I was also not aware of it. We also learn things as we go through the system again and again.
Yes.
So there are two more buttons over here: update and delete. These both are self-explanatory. You are updating the record and you're deleting the record. There is one very simple difference between save and update. Basically, if you click on update, what it will do is, suppose from where have we navigated into this? If we have navigated into this form from the users list, right? We went to the user list and we have opened this form. Now, if you click on update, it will take you back to this list. But suppose if you want to, this is just a very simple.
Yeah. Save doesn't take.
So save will keep you over here only. Delete it, it will
Yeah.
delete this record, that's all. And this is about the form. There is few other things. You also have this update and delete. You can change everything on this form. You can change these buttons, you can change the location of the button, everything you can change it. We will see how do we do all those things. ServiceNow, why it is growing is it has given us lot of options. It has built a framework and it has told boss, this is your framework or this is your tool. You change whatever you want. This is what we have built. Suppose some client says, boss, I don't want the update button over here, I want it over here. You can change it. They say I don't want the delete button over here. There should be something that I right click and the delete should come over here. You can change that as well. So you can change whatever you want. If somebody says that this manage attachment icon, I don't like this manage attachment icon, I want some other icon over here. So you can bring that icon. You say, boss, you tell whatever you want, I will do that for you. So they have given us so much of freedom that you can change anything over here. Going down, see, I will tell you few things. These are called as UI actions, or these are called as buttons. Okay. These things which are marked in blue, these are called as links. What is the specific name? I will tell you afterward. This is called as related lists, related links. This is basically called as related links. It's written over here as a related links. Now, in this form, we have one more important thing to cover. That is called as related list. We saw list, we saw form. Now we'll see related list. These are related list. The use of a means, I'll give you a very simple example why a related list is used. Suppose a user is there. Okay. I will show you some group form to explain how it is, why it is used. Where is my user action?
So under the group, you can see all the users, right? So that should be a related list.
Exactly. So if I go into group members, this does not have any member, but this will list down all the group members which are there. So like suppose if we talk about incident, in incident we can see related problems, we can see related changes, we can see affected CIs, we can see the task, we can see the SLAs which are attached to it. So the related list will give us information about that record which has some relationship to some other table as well. Because in an ITSM tool, you know all the many tables are connected. There are one to many, many to many relationships between tables. So we can see all those relationship details in this related links over here. So let me go back to the user form as we were talking about the user form. Now, as I right clicked on the list and showed you there were few options over there. Similarly, if you right click on the form also, you have few options over here. Save, insert and stay. Configure we'll talk about later. Template is same. Export is also the same. View, copy URL, copy society. These things are same. Similar to the list which was there. Okay. So this is about list and forms. So do you have any questions about list, forms, any clarification, anything you want me to repeat?
Till now I'm good. Yeah.
So Shrikant, what we will do is we'll pause our session for today, so that it's not overburdened and you might not feel that so many things are there, so you'll have difficulty to absorb all those things. And we will take it up on the next session. Does that looks fine to you?
Yeah, you can do that, no problem.
So Srinivas,
Pratul, I have one more question. So daily what we'll do is, can we go topic wise, like based upon the wiki topics which you provide, the ServiceNow provides wiki, right? So what I'll do is,
okay, yes, sorry to interrupt.
what I'll do is daily I'll try to understand the things. If I have any questions covered in the topic, I'll be asking you. And beforehand itself, you can just give me the topics which you are covering the previous day, so that I'll just brush up everything and come back.
So what I will do is, 1 second, just give me 1 second. So has Srinivas shared with you this basic information or the content, what we are going to cover, the entire thing?
Yes.
Okay. So what I will do is, I will reframe this. I will not reframe this content. I will just edit this content and put in a timelines on each and everything, right? Like what am I planning to cover in which date, so that it will give you a picture like what we are going to cover in the next session. You don't have to ask each and every time. You can just go on to this and see what we are covering. I will just put in tentative dates. Obviously, the exact dates will depend upon how our sessions are going and how if you have any doubts, it might go slow some days, it might go fast some days. So I'll put tentative dates over there so that you can get to know. And if you want, like if you feel, suppose if you are going through something and if you have some difficulty, and if you feel that no, this topic should come earlier, and if it is explained means before some other topic, it will give me a better understanding. Just let me know. We will change it accordingly, according to your preference. See, as you are the only one who is there, so we can change the
Yeah,
sessions.
so we can play around it. And one
Yes,
more thing is like, I'll just let you know beforehand itself the topics which I know. Suppose if you're starting a topic which I know, I'll just let you know behind itself so that we don't waste time.
Surely. That is, see, at the starting of that was the sole purpose at the starting of the session I mentioned, that if you
Yeah,
feel at any point of time that I am reiterating something or something which you already know, just stop me at that point. I say, boss, this is fine.
sure.
This I know. We can go ahead. So that it will
Yeah,
save time for you as well, and it will
yeah,
save time for me.
yeah. So that we can cover the more of development topics and all.
Yeah. Surely we can do that.
Yeah.
So we'll be ending up as of now. Srinivas, over to you.